Hello and welcome to the latest KOFISI Connect podcast. It's Sustainability Month at KOFISI, where we're looking at how enterprise can operate in a more environmentally conscious fashion. Traditionally, a no-go area for corporations whose social and environmental concerns are often in conflict with financial goals, for the short term at least. But in the long run, going green can reduce energy costs, carbon footprints, and an investment in socially responsible and ethical practices can lead to enhanced recruitment, branding, and PR. Well, today I'm pleased to say that I'm joined in the studio by two people who are invested in some very well-known Kenyan brands and who formed a collective to support their work and access to the market. First of all, welcome. Introduce yourselves and tell me a bit about the business that you support.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. My name is Ashley Jechumba, and I am a marketing officer at Opportunity Factory.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And hello. Everyone. My name is Brenda Wangui, marketing officer for Sandstorm, Kenya. We make luxury canvas and leather bags, and we sell them globally.
You'll see, did you notice my bag?
Oh, yes, I did.
I have a bit of a passion for Sandstorm. And I think, Keshi, you've got one as well. There we go. We're supporting your business.
Actually, the first time I met Keshi, I saw her bag. I was like, ooh, a fan. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about some of the brands inside the collective, the Opportunity Factory. Tell me a little bit. It's not just Sandstorm that's supported by.
Yeah. So we work with over 10 brands. And I'm saying over 10 brands because we always have a new brand that is joining us, because Opportunity Factory is a home to a collective of independent enterprises, each representing the very best of contemporary Kenyan craft. And the factory works with amazing Kenyans to promote direct access to markets for makers by promoting Kenyans to promote direct access to markets through radical openness, craft, and culture. And it's a point of connection for all.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. And so, Brenda, tell me a little bit about Sandstorm. How does that operate in a sustainable way?
Well, I can say a little bit history of Sandstorm. So back like 20 years ago, we used to make luxury safari tents, and we're left with huge and heaped offcut waste. So within the years, maybe early in the 2000s, we started making luxury bags out of those offcuts.
Oh, right. I didn't know.
And yeah, people really loved it, and it was high in demand. So we went with the flow, and we made it our main focus. So we stopped making the luxury tents and continued to make the bags, the luxury bags in leather. And
So that now is your main.
Yes.
So your main source.
yes, now that's our main source.
So who were the designers at the beginning when did you bring on some designers and someone said I can just make bags out of this, or how did it work?
Well, since we had tailors, we had to train them, of course.
Okay.
So some consulted, some did training on how to make the bags. But now when it came to the designs, that all came up with other different designers, or artisans rather, who were interested in making bags, and they're interested in Sandstorm bags. So they opted and said, hey, we can make a design for this bag. For instance, our Dorothy tote is our main tote bag for women, which has gone through different prints by different artisans. So yeah, that's how.
Amazing. But so no more tents.
Yeah, no more tents.
So
No
now
more.
So now you use the material specifically for the bags.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, cool. And so, Ashley, tell me about a bit about some of the brands inside the collective, inside the Opportunity Factory. Talk about.
Yeah, like I said earlier, currently we have over 10 brands. And I say over 10 brands because our collective is always growing, and there's always new incredible Kenyan coming in. To mention a few, we have Nakshi Glass. Nakshi Glass are a world-class stained glass artists. Their work ranges from windows for cathedrals through to stunning jewelry, which they make alongside brass craftsmen around, in Opportunity Factory. We also have ENN Ceramics. ENN Ceramics is run by Elizabeth, and she creates art that embraces modern techniques and developments alongside sustainable century-old practices.
Amazing. And so the glass that's used by...
Nakshi glass?
The Nakshi glass, yes, sorry. I should have written it down. That's made from... Is that all recycled glass?
Yeah.
So that's
yes,
kind of...
that is recycled glass.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing industry here in Kenya as well, making things... everybody is so ingenious with what they can create. I follow someone on Instagram called Mr. Doodoo, and I think he's Mr. Doodoo. He basically just makes amazing pieces of art out of like old old sort of tin cans, and so it's extraordinary, and it's really intricate and actually very fine art.
And it's amazing how everywhere you walk in Kenya, you always see something new. Like people make things out of tires, out of wood, recycled everything, like jeans, it's amazing how the creativity never stops.
Nothing is rubbish.
Yeah.
So business sustainability, if I put it in inverted commas, is kind of gaining momentum. Why do you think it's so important?
Yes, you're right. Business sustainability is gaining momentum in the current market and current day. It is important because it aligns with environmental stewardship, social responsibility, long-term viability, reputation and branding, and regulatory compliance. By embracing sustainability, businesses are able to create a positive change and build a more sustainable future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's also it's big now for business to sort of for sort of a business's reputation to be more sustainable.
It is. Yeah. It is good for the brand, and I feel like people are drawn like to businesses which are all about sustainability and like catering for the environment. People care nowadays. I was gonna say that I was listening to some podcast and I had people say like Gen Z care about, but people do care about environment nowadays.
Amazing. So do you, in specifically here in Kenya, do you think, I suppose people have a sort of second mover advantage? They can kind of see the mistakes that the global north have sort of made in terms of, like, you take the fashion industry and the amount of clothes that just sort of go to waste. Do you think that here we're sort of positioned to learn from those mistakes?
I will say
yes
and no. I'll say yes and no. You say yes. Okay, go first. I
think I'd say maybe, but I think we're getting there. We're getting to learn the mistakes that they got to make and see how, as much as there was a difference between our cultures and their needs and compared to us, we are learning and we know better. So I think people are getting to draw themselves to a better thing to do in terms of going or being associated with a company that they care more about their employees and their customers and most of the environment. So I think we're getting there.
Ashley, you said no.
No, I said yes and no. Okay, first of all, because Africa is a very diverse continent with like varying levels of development and opportunities. And to some extent, yes, we do learn from global experiences. And for example, exploitation of labor. We have a history of, forced labor, child labor, which is not evident in the current market because you can see everyone is like actively, working towards ensuring that we don't have this going on in like today's world. Like we have people who care about employees, like fair wages, and also we have a lot of untapped markets and emerging industries, for example, like fintech, financial technology, where mobile money has revolutionized banking and financial services, and everyone is opting for digital payment solution. For example, like M-Pesa in Kenya is doing really well.
I mean, that blew my mind when I arrived here. When I first got here, I was like, we have now Apple Pay and things like that kind of in the UK, but there was nothing like M-Pesa. I mean, it is revolutionary.
So that's why I say things are different in different parts of like Africa. Yeah. So like in Kenya, because it's doing well, which is not available in like most parts of Africa or in some parts of like first world countries. Yeah.
And why do you think? I mean, for me, the term "made in Africa" means something very different to "made in China." Made in Africa has a very, I suppose it's a mark of respect, it's a mark of pride, it's a mark of resilience. And so why do you think that's the case?
I think, just as you said, I think we're really used to the term made in China. But when it's made in Africa, I feel like either there's a story to tell behind it, there's an experience behind that, and it brings personally like confidence that actually this was made in Africa, knowing that I don't know, I think maybe through the internet, when the first thing you Google about Africa is poverty and that's the first thing that you'll see. But getting to know that something unique was made in Africa or in Kenya, you'd want to know the story behind it. Compared to something made in China, you'll just know it was a factory. That was, and that's it.
And the connotations of what you were saying actually about the sort of, I'm not saying everything made in China is
it's bad.
But, yes, you're right. It's and whereas made in Africa, I think you're right. It's very much you can imagine a fundi with his hands on the piece of wood that he's made or she.
And it also stems from a combination of cultural authenticity, social impact, ethical production process, unique design, storytelling, and trends. And the appeal lies in the African heritage, craftsmanship, and the desire to make a positive impact through conscious consumer choices.
If I want to set up a business, a large multinational corporation in Kenya or Africa, how would what sort of recommendations would you put in place for me to take accountability of my impact on the social and environmental sort of issues prevalent here specifically?
I would say be responsible, and be responsible in the terms of being transparent to your consumers. Share how you're making the environment better. How do you want your consumers, to be coming to your company even more and more? And that's one thing mainly Sandstorm and Opportunity Factory basing our pillars on, is just being transparent with our consumers and being authentic and giving value to what our business is worth, and trying to follow sustainable practices that will help us even last longer. And that's why just as Sandstorm, when we're still making the luxury bags and everything, our CEO, Max Stevenson, saw the need of expanding and having a healthy environment for our workers too, where they can work, and also where our consumers can just come and have an experience and see what other people are making. And we're just trying to build and strengthen the relationship between our consumers and our workers so that they can actually get to see that we are doing, or there are companies or small businesses outside there who are trying to make the world a better place. I'll take, for instance, like African Collect Textiles. They are making amazing rags out of upcycled old jeans. So we have a bin at Opportunity Factory where if you have old jeans that you don't wear, you just drop it at the bin and they take it, they cut it into pieces and make amazing carpets and rags.
You should see those carpets. They're like out of this.
What was it? African
Collect Textiles.
Collect, okay.
Yeah.
I'm after some rags.
You should
You're
visit
welcome.
Opportunity Factory.
I'm coming.
Yeah. So I think with that concept and what we're really striving for is people to get to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, to add on to that, I think if you're a new business venturing into the world of business and you want to be sustainable, I'd say collaborating with like NGOs, because these people are experts in social and environmental issues in Kenya. And they'll really help you, give you the insights and help you maneuver through sustainable practices around your business.
But I mean, I don't want to affect my all-important profit margins. Do you think? I mean, a lot of people sort of say that you try and operate sustainably, and there's an impact on your
profit margin.
Taking accountability for like social and environmental issues should be seen as an investment rather than direct impact or direct positive impact on like the profit margin.
They should take responsibility.
Yeah, because obviously there will be costs like that are associated with like implementing sustainability practices, but these are also like benefits that impact a company's long-term profitability.
And it works. And in turn, if you're able to sort of talk about your CSR, corporate social responsibility, actually, I think it assists your brand.
Yes.
I mean, for instance, not to talk about, well, KOFISI, we only use glass bottles. We don't allow plastic in our centres. All the furniture is made by local fundis. None of it is imported, from anywhere else.
Wow.
So we talk a lot about that because I think it resonates to our audience as well. And I think actually, if you sort of look at past the sort of short-term slight pinch, actually,
in the long run, it's like
it resonates with your members.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about some of the brands that you've associated with and how they operate in particular in a more sustainable way.
We have a couple. I think we've mentioned them, like when I started, and Brenda mentioned African Collect Textiles. So with ENN Ceramics, like I said, it's run by Elizabeth Nenge, and she creates art that embraces modern techniques and developments alongside sustainable material practices.
But how is it sustainable? How does it work? What's the sort of sustainability?
Waste reduction and recycling.
Okay.
Clay.
Yeah.
She sources it in Kenya. And then she reuses excess clay and repurposing unfired and damaged pottery pieces. I don't think there's a point where clay can ever not be in use. Even it's like, if it's damaged, if it's broken, you can always put it to use. Yeah, and also African Collect Textiles, recycling jeans.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And we also have Green Pink Kenya. Green Pink Kenya, from the word, they're all for like creating things that are good for environment. They make like toothbrush recyclable. Is that how you say it?
Well, I had the problem with sustainability as well. So we should both put our teeth in.
Yeah, and like kitchen utensils and stuff. And we also have Spring Valley Coffee, who have like their station at Opportunity Factory, and they've been doing this for like a long time. They have this Keep Cup, which helps in like the wasteful cycle of creating paper and plastic cups. It like reduces it.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to the US and you go to like a Starbucks coffee, the amount of packaging, completely unnecessary packaging, which you literally take out the coffee and then you put all the packaging in the bin. I mean, it goes from the shop no more than 5 meters probably, and then it's just, I mean, that drives me crazy.
They should learn from Spring Valley Coffee.
I think they're learning. I think they're slowly learning. Oh, amazing, girls. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
And keep up the great work.
Thank you. And I hope you can visit Opportunity Factory.
I'm definitely coming there.
You're welcome.
Not only to steal loads of bags.
You come, I'll give you a tour.
Amazing.
Personally give you a tour.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.